You want to weigh in on what Trump might do to the climate?
Yeah. So, regarding the climate, it's kind of interesting because Trump says that climate change, global warming, is a Chinese hoax to undermine the US economy. And therefore, he doesn't see any need to, change anything. It's drill, baby, drill. We need to, just use more fossil fuels and make sure that nobody takes our fossil fuels away from us. Uh, Now, the Biden administration knows that climate catastrophe is looming, and they're very, very aware of the science of climate change. And they have exactly the same policy as Donald Trump. They've literally come out and said it that US hegemony is tied to its control and the use of fossil fuels. They are not going to do any transition to green renewables. They said
Granted more leases for uh, both natural gas and fossil fuels than Trump did.
absolutely. And they've come out and said literally that US hegemonic power is tied to the global use of fossil fuels. So they don't give, a rat's rear end about global warming either. So the question is, which is worse? Somebody who, you know, takes you over the cliff knowing that it's a cliff, or somebody who is taking you over the cliff because they don't know the cliff is there. I think it's an open question, which party is more amenable to change. I think that's a question that's worth asking. So either way, it looks bad for the climate as
Yeah.
far as US policy is concerned. Certainly, if the US goes to war and it continues escalating to war, war is one of the greatest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions, not to mention human suffering, devastation, etc. But just purely on the level of greenhouse gas emissions, it is one of the greatest institutional causes. The US military is one of the greatest institutional polluters in the world. So that looks very bad, either for both administrations. But the bright part of this picture is that China is literally greening the planet. It is, doing extraordinary things to transition to renewables. China by itself will reduce global warming by zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3 degrees Celsius just by itself. And if the US stops forcing other countries to levy tariffs against China's renewable technologies, solar panels, EVs, etc., then there's a good chance that the rest of the global south and possibly even the EU will adapt these green transition technologies, which I think give us an outside chance. The only problem is the United States. And then there again, that's another area where we, from the grassroots, have to put as much pressure, both from the state level and where we can on the federal level, to take climate catastrophe seriously, and that serious measures need to be put in, including measures towards degrowth, not simply, uh, transitional technologies, but also a systemic approach towards degrowth and a kind of dismantling of a capitalist mindset towards, energy consumption in general.